Yeah.
She's had a lot of conversions in prison too, especially the prisoners, because they find out right away what she's in jail for, and changing their minds about abortion. And really, they've been real supportive among the prisoners.
Yeah.
You know, really, know that she's doing it sincerely, that it isn't just out of selfishness or to, make a point.
There's a lot of conversions.
Well, I think this is testing our democracy, whether we can withstand peaceful civil disobedience, whether we agree with someone or not. But I'm wondering, what can we do for her? Because certainly she is our conscience. She is talking to our conscience, and sides are being taken.
Right.
And what can be done?
I think the main thing is to pray, not just for Joan, but for everybody involved in the Holocaust. You go ahead, Doc.
And Joan's always wanted people not to focus so much on her, but to see it as a stepping point toward getting out to the abortion clinics, praying, to try do whatever you can in your own life to save unborn babies, whether it's praying, whether it's talking to someone you know, or speaking up if you hear that someone believes in abortion. But just to do whatever you can for the babies. The one thing with Joan is she's now married and the mother of 2 children, and she didn't seek this out. But as a Christian, when someone wants you to say that you will not save babies, or you will not follow your conscience of what God's calling you to do, you can't go along with that. And they're trying to force her to sign this paper and saying that she has a key to her own jail cell. But that's what they used to say to the early Christians, that if they would just deny Christ.
Well, some of the tactics, it seems like, from what I hear and read in the newspapers, that seem to be objective, and may not even agree with her. Yeah. But it almost seems like you're dealing in a right-wing or a left-wing country, with the very strange techniques that is not conducive to people who live in a democratic society.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I'm also wondering, there's a school of thought that says that we don't want any civil disobedience. And another school that would say, now, if you're going to take this risk, you should live with the consequences. So what do you say to that?
Well, pro-lifers are willing to live with the consequences, but can a country survive if it's going to, allow murder and to put people in prison for their beliefs? Russia's done that for years, and when what's happened to that, it crumbles because it's not based on God's, with God's blessing. You can't put everyone who has any beliefs or values in prison. Pretty soon your country, isn't what it was meant to be. Our country was certainly started on, founded with ideals and with the belief that a country was, that it was with God's blessing that our country was started. And the early founders, of course, went across against the authority that was above them to found this country.
Now, is she getting support from bishops and priests and
yes, she's had
lay people, nuns, and
she's had a wonderful
ministers?
Amount of people writing on her behalf, and several cardinals and bishops. And the judge even mentioned that, how he'd gotten so many letters talking about this family, she and Chris, and her husband has started many homes for unwed mothers, and how they've helped the poor in New York and New Jersey having their babies, and that they were doing wonderful work. And he mentioned all that, and then went ahead and insisted that she sign this paper. So
and this judge, I understand that he was a former seminarian?
Former priest.
He's a former priest.
Former priest.
Very
yes.
interesting.
Yeah, and I think he's bending over backwards not to let any religion influence him. He's even said that, and it was kind of a chilling idea, but he said that, you know, he has to, you know, deal out from the state's point of view, you know, the laws, and that he may have to answer for it someday, you know, to God, to higher authority, recognizing that. And yet he chose to put the state first, and he so much has said that, you know.
And in that, in the whole, it's a teachable moment what
Yes.
she's going through for all of
Absolutely.
us, because it's truly a teaching blossom in the Catholic social teachings and all sorts of instruction, but it's like being enfleshed, it seems to me, in what is going on and the whole debate, and whether it will be Holy Mother Church or Holy Mother State.
Absolutely, and as Catholics, it's well within our tradition, you know, our whole faith of standing up for people's rights. In fact, I have here, if you don't mind my reading it,
Sure.
a statement from the Pope that, you know, and certainly Joan is loyal to the Church and the Pope, you know, above all things. And the Pope John Paul II recently said that abortion and euthanasia are crimes which no human law can claim to legitimize. There is no obligation in conscience to obey such laws. Instead, there is a grave and clear obligation to oppose them by conscientious objection. And that's out of Evangelium Vitae, the Gospel of Life. So, you know, as a Catholic, we must do this. You know, we must oppose unjust laws.
And it